Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Rider's Ramblings. First time on this bike for 2 weeks. So it's one of the reasons why there aren't as many Rider Ramblings, is because of all this working at home. All these Zoom meetings and things like that, but it's a beautiful day and we have a full tank of fuel, and I'm actually off to my office to drop off various files and pick up various things. I haven't been to the office now for about 3 months, so it's quite some time. Nice Beamer behind me, G1200. You can cross, man. You don't have to stay there. A nice black Beamer. Interesting. Very interesting. I walked down here this morning. I was at the Physio-Terrorist, which seems to be now a standard thing on a Friday morning. So, yes. Well, we've had the information from the Prime Minister of France and the Interior Minister, and most of France is now back to normal, or it will be on the 2nd of June. It's not the 1st of June because that's a public holiday in France. Yes, another one. I know, there's quite a few. So most of France, except for the area in and around Paris, is back to normal, but you've got to respect the social distancing. That was nice, 2 blocks of wood on the road there. So the restaurants are open, the bars are open, and that type of thing, but they've got to keep 1 metre between the tables, and they've got to no more than 10 people at a table. I think it's going to cause a few bars a problem, not the 10 people at a table, but the 1 metre in some of the bars and the restaurants. It's about a foot between the tables, so that's 30 centimetres. So I think it's they're not going to be as happy as maybe they could be. But all the parks are open, the schools are starting to go back, not all at the same time. There is they are staggered, so some schools are going back on the 2nd, some back on the 11th, and then some back on, I think it's, what's the next one, the 18th or something like that. And then, but only for some of them, they're only going back for some of their exams, and not everybody is going back. As for what we call Ile-de-France, which is the area in and around Paris, we're what's called an orange zone, which basically means that we're horrid people. And yes, I know I could probably go in front of all this, but with those bicycles it's just going to be havoc. Anyhow, back to the orange zone. That means that the restaurants can only be open exterior. So that basically means on the terraces only, and they've got to keep their 1 meter distance between the tables on the terraces. There are some slightly different rules about schools, which I'm not too sure of. They're not quite the same because we're orange and that type of thing. So, yes. But we're allowed to travel anywhere within France now. The parks are open. The cinemas, I think, open the 18th, I think. And theatres, but again, they've got this problem of a 1 meter distance between clients and so on. So, but it seems that we're all going back to some semblance of normality, which is quite nice. And because but of course this weekend is a long weekend, and the restrictions are still in place, so you can't travel as far. You're allowed 100 kilometers as the crow flies from your place of residence, and for the weekend. So no bars and so on are open, except for takeaways and that type of thing. Bars and restaurants, takeaways only. So yes, we're nearly back to normal. Nearly back to normal. I think it's busier down here because of the stupidity at the other bridge. So more people are now using this road because the mayor of Créteil is being stupid. And we've got municipal elections as well happening. I think it's 17th. Can't remember. They have them on a Sunday in France. That's the municipal elections, and this is round 2. So those that didn't get a complete majority are up again in the first round, have to stand. So we will see what is happening. Oh dear. The quality of driving hasn't got much better, has it? And something's spilling something on the road there. Doesn't smell of anything, so maybe it's water, I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, the municipal elections are happening. I'm just wondering if the mayor of Créteil, I haven't checked, did he? I think he got a big enough majority, unfortunately, that he doesn't have to stand in the second tranche of elections. So, which is a bit unfortunate, because we would like him to be doing something about the bridge, and of course this isn't a plebiscite about the bridge, referendum, unfortunately, and the mess that he's absolutely made down there. Oh well, not to worry. Oh, it's nice and warm. I've still got one of the linings in this jacket. I think when I get to my office, I shall take it out. I'm hoping, though the traffic looks quite dense. They can't go anywhere. They can't go to the beach this weekend or anything like that. It's not allowed. It's banned. So I don't know where all this traffic is going on a Friday, because they can't really leave Paris. Not this weekend. There's still a large fine. I think it's 250 euros if they leave Paris. But we will see. We will see. But it is glorious, not a cloud in the sky. Ideal for going to the beach. And most of France is supposed to be like this today. It's supposed to be covering all of France. I don't have a thermometer on this bike, so I don't know what the temperature is, but they are saying that it's going to be something like 26 degrees out in the afternoon. So we will have to see what it is. When I get home, I have somebody there wearing a Newcastle brown t-shirt. Good grief. Not something you'd expect to see in France. A brune t-shirt. What else did you get for Christmas? STG. Right. Keep forgetting this bike only has 5 gears, whereas the other one has 6. Never mind. It's that's the problem. Although it's not strictly necessary, I do like to have a gear indicator on the motorbikes. My first ever motorbike had one, and I think I got used to it from that, even though it was just a little 125. It did have a Honda 125, it did have a gear indicator on it, and since then I've always been used to the idea. I can't remember now. I don't think my CBR had one. I can't remember. I know some of them had them and some of them didn't. So it's difficult to remember. Thank you, Mr. Lorry. So we'll see how the traffic is. I was out last Friday, but the Friday before, and the traffic was very, very light. But today it's looking a lot heavier. Okay, it is a different time of day, but I wouldn't have thought people are going home just yet, because it's still early in France for home time, even for Friday. And, the Caravan Cease looks fairly quiet at the moment. It's either quiet or there's been an accident. We'll have to see what's what. I adjusted the suspension on the bike last time I was out. I think I need to adjust it again. I do I need to adjust it again. It's a little bit bouncy. Just a little bit on the back. Actually, the rear shock absorber probably needs replacing, but to replace it with a genuine Honda article just for the shock absorber itself is 500 and something euros. That's just for the shock, not including the labour or anything else like that, and any bushings and that type of thing that might be required. But if you get an aftermarket one, it's only about 300 euros. There's a few people saying that they think the aftermarket one is better. The only difference is that the aftermarket one is more difficult to adjust. The Honda one, you've got a remote adjuster, so it's very easy, but the aftermarket one is a ring adjuster, and so you've got to fiddle about by the rear wheels, a bit more difficult to adjust. I don't know if they do an aftermarket one with a remote adjuster. I will have to have a look. But, this rear one is probably well past its sell-by date, but I did speak to the Honda mechanic about 15,000 miles ago when I had the bushings and everything else overhauled, and he said it was all right. So I'm very surprised at that. I would have thought that the oil has had it in there, certainly. It's 10 years old. We've got a white Deauville behind me. The white Deuvilles were released in France in, I think it was 2013. They had been kept for the police because they were hoping that the police would buy a lot of them. They did buy some, but obviously not as many. And so they finally released them for general sale in, I think it was 2013. I did look at swapping mine at the time. To get a newer one, because by then mine had done about 60,000 kilometres, about 40,000 miles, but it just wasn't worth it really. I keep smelling burning rubber. That's the second time I've smelt burning rubber tyres, just very briefly, but there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with my vehicle, so there could well be, I don't know. But, yes, it's still quiet. This piece of road here is a litmus test for how busy it is and so on, because normally on a Friday afternoon this is stationary. You're not going anywhere from about 12 o'clock, midday, at all on this piece of road, unless you're on a motorbike. It's about an hour to get down just this piece from the tunnel to these bridges here is usually about an hour on a Friday in a car, which is what, I don't know, a couple of kilometres or so, not sure. Maybe a bit more. So yes, lots of out-of-town bikers waving. Just like in London, you don't acknowledge other bikers in London usually. It's the same in Paris. You don't usually acknowledge other bikers in Paris, because you'll spend too much time looking at the traffic. So it's not a good idea. I've got a scooterist coming up quite quickly behind. I should let him through if necessary. This is not a good area. We've got a Alfa Romeo being a bit silly in front. So let's see. My girlfriend bought me a new t-shirt which arrived today, which is absolutely fantastic. It says my motorbike is calling. I'll call you back, and there's sort of a picture of a mobile phone screen on it. So yes, it's in French, but they do the same in the same one in English. But yes, it's I've got it on now. I got it at lunchtime, which is very good. Yes, most pleased with that t-shirt. Most pleased. But, it's interesting that when my father was the same age as I am now, he wouldn't be seen dead in jeans and a t-shirt, ever. Unless he was on the beach, and then a t-shirt might be worn if it's getting too hot at some point. And there's me, quite happy to walk around in jeans and a t-shirt. How times have changed. Yes, how times have changed. Never mind. For some reason, this scooterist doesn't seem to want to overtake me. I don't know why. There's another motorcycle with his headlight full on. Different scooterist. So, you're never too sure how close they are when they've got the headlights full on. It's a bit difficult. You lose your depth perception of the vehicle, which is not good. We've got a 77 in front. Obviously hasn't been into Paris for a while. Blocking the traffic a bit. So a bit careful down here. It's a speed trap area. They have a car that an unmarked car, which they use to raise revenue. The idea, of course, is that if it's unmarked, everybody will travel slowly. And of course, nobody does. So the French just believe it's another form of tax. And I'm not overly impressed with the speeding system, the speeding fine system in France. They see it as a form of tax. Yeah, never mind. It's unfortunate. I notice that the police in the UK are now being looked at as a tax gathering organisation rather than what they should be doing, and that's policing by consent and looking after the population. According to a number of different media outlets, they're looking at they seem to be seen more for their tax gathering, but never mind. Yes, that's life. This is very surprising for a Friday, because normally the other side here would be solid, absolutely solid, and this side would be quite difficult. But I think one of the big factories is a big factory, not this building we're coming to, but not very far past it. There's a big Peugeot factory. Woo! And behind the trees over there's a large Peugeot factory, and I think they come out at about 3:30 or 4 o'clock on most days. So yeah, and so the road down here is usually a nightmare. There's the factory, you can see it over there, just. But I don't think they're fully functional yet. And on the news, Renault is in financial trouble, but it seems that the French government are going to be giving them 5 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B, and at the same time they're also doing a package of measures to increase the sales of vehicles, and now where are you going to be? And giving up to 12,000 euros off an electric vehicle, depending on circumstances and various other things. I think normal human beings can only get 8,000 off of an electric vehicle, and then others will be able to get another 4,000 off it at some point. I think we'll go to the left today. Let's have a look down here. Last time I came to Belize, I went straight on. But we'll come down here and have a look. See if they've done anything, which probably they haven't during the lockdown, simply because they're not allowed to. So we'll have to see. There's a bit of gravel on the road though, which doesn't look very good. Well, you can see summer's arrived. There's one or two distractions for us men. Oh, that new Decathlon looks like it's open now. I don't know, we might go and have a look. It was there previously, and then they knocked it down, and they moved into the shopping centre for a couple of years, and now it looks like they're back here, so I might go and see what's what. I don't know. I might have to get these head bearings looked at. It's a bit sloppy. So we'll have to see. Oh, now that's unusual for the lights to change green. They usually change red to slow everybody down. The whole university is closed. It's more of a polytechnic, that I believe, or what we would call a polytechnic in the UK. Technical college or whatever. Do we still have polytechnics in the UK, or have they all turned themselves into universities and so on? I have no idea. Yeah. Comment below, please. Do we still have polytechnics and technical colleges and things like that? I don't honestly know. I really don't. Anyhow, we're nearly at work, so I'll say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Keep yourselves safe.